Okay then Andy, I'm going to show you two different casts that are going to be really useful for your coarse fishing on lakes. First of all is the overhand cast, or overhead cast, right? So this is when you want to be fishing further out in the swim, whatever range you need to fish. It's a two-handed cast, and you're actually going to use your right hand as you're right-handed at the top of the rod, and you're going to grip the bottom of the rod with your left hand.
Okay.
And it's actually a two-hand motion. So it's push with your top hand and pull with your bottom hand in a nice smooth way.
Okay.
Okay. And you'll also note that the rod is completely vertical, and I'm actually looking down the rod when I'm casting. So the rod is not going at an angle, it's going straight.
Okay.
I guess you can think about throwing a dart or throwing a ball. You don't throw the dart from over here, you look and aim with the dart. So it's the same when you're casting a rod. So once again, it's a simple push and pull action. Okay?
Yep.
Now obviously the tricky bit is when to release the line, because you have to open the bail arm to allow the line to come off the spool. You're going to keep the line from coming off the spool by trapping it with your finger.
Okay.
Okay, in this case I use my index finger. So let's try and cast and show you the mechanism of releasing the line with the finger. Obviously you have to release the line at the correct moment to allow the float to go with the cast. Too soon and the float's going to end up behind you. Too late and you're going to end up with the float in the water in front of you. So it's all about timing.
Okay.
Okay, so simply bring the float back and forward, release the line. So you can see that the float cast very straight, very accurately, and landed very smoothly.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll do that one more time. So just smoothly bring the float back, push and pull with both hands and release the line. Okay, so the float has gone exactly to the same position. One thing you'll notice, and just before the float hit the water, I gently feathered the line so that it allows the float to land in a very gentle way. If you don't do that and just cast without feathering the line, the float will land with a big splash.
Ah, right, okay.
It's going to cause you two problems. It's going to upset the fish, disturb the fish, but it's also going to give you more chance of getting a tangle, because when you feather the line, it gently lays out all the shot behind the float. So it's casting much more efficiently by feathering the line.
Okay.
Right Andy, I've shown you how to do it. See if you can do it.
Brilliant.
That's a good cast, but straight away you made an obvious mistake by nearly catching me. In that you had too much line hanging down from the tip of the rod during the cast.
Okay.
So try again, but have the float higher up. You don't want the float to be too high up.
Where do you recommend the float to be?
Well, you've got to take the depth into consideration, but if you have the float around about, that's it,
Okay.
I don't know, around about 50 centimetres from the tip of the rod.
Okay.
You're going to miss all the bankside foliage and me, and you're going to bring it back. But you've just tangled up, so we'll just sort the tangle out and we'll try again. Yeah, it's something that, you know, does happen, and it's just about practicing and just getting used to the tackle. So let's try again. Now what I recommend you do this time, Andy, is let a bit more line off. You've got a bit too short a line there between the tip and the float. So if you just let off, I don't know, 20 or 30 centimetres, that's it, perfect. Now think about it. If you watch me, I brought the rod back to my left where there's no bankside foliage or anything. Look, I've got plenty of space there to be able to cast efficiently. Okay. So next time you bring it back to cast, bring it back over your left shoulder.
Okay.
And then it's that nice smooth movement forward, okay?
Okay. Are you safely back?
Yeah. Perfection. That's a nice cast. That's it. Next thing you need to think about is bringing the float back into the area that we're going to feed. I mean, that was such a good cast, you sort of cast past the middle of the lake.
Right.
So we're only going to fish out around about 15 metres. When you bring it in, put the rod tip under the water.
Okay.
That'll help you to sink the line between the rod tip and the float to prevent it from being blown around, and that will improve your presentation.
Brilliant.
So if you try that now, just reel in 4 or 5 turns of the handle with the tip under the water.
Under the water.
You'll sink the line. Perfect. So with a bit of practice, Andy, I reckon you'll be casting to the far side.
Cheers, mate.
Nice one, Andy. I think with a bit of practice you'll master the overhead cast. Now there's another neat cast that will come in very handy when you're fishing on a lake like this, and indeed in lots of situations when you're coarse fishing. That's the underarm cast. So it's when you don't want to fish so far out, but you want to have a bit more delicacy with the cast. So you're almost just sort of placing the rig on the water. So it's just obviously using your finger to trap the line in the same way on the spool with the bail arm open, and just literally underarming the float out into position. Did you notice that I feathered the line as well?
Yeah.
So that everything landed very nice and neatly without too much splash. So I'll show you one more time, then you have a go. So I'm just holding the line above the hook and the bait. I'm just gently underarming the float and then feathering it. Okay, so you have a go. That's it, and open the bail arm. Now you really want to be holding on to the bait like I was showing you to give you enough line to swing the float out. So if I were you, I'll let a bit more line out. Okay, there you go. So hold the line with your left hand. You can feel the weight of the float, yeah?
Yeah.
And you might want to stand up actually just to start with, just to get it a bit better. You'll soon perfect it. So hold that with your left hand, a bit lower down. That's it. And just gently underarm the float out. Perfect. Absolute perfection. So that's going to be really useful when we're fishing down the margins, when we've got the fish feeding closer in.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, James. Now I'm hooked on fishing.